And taking a moment, maybe even holding yourself, wrapping your arms around your knees toward the chest, hugging yourself in. And in the next breath or two, perhaps taking this opportunity to just feel the sensation of being held. Knowing that you hold yourself. After your last exhale, or when you decide you're ready to leave this shape, we might begin to extend one leg open to the side and perhaps pull your opposite leg in close toward you. How far you take your extended leg out, again, is totally up to you, and farther isn't necessarily better. It's whatever allows you to be in this shape in a sustainable and safe way. And only you know what that looks like for you. So here, you could explore center. You could explore this moment as you are. This is option one, staying at center with the spine, floating up towards the sky, perhaps even tuning into your extended leg, the inner thigh, noticing if you feel sensation there or somewhere else perhaps. Option two is to inhale and find lots of space in the spine. And then as you exhale, you might begin to walk your hands forward, finding a little bit of a forward fold. You could also use your blocks. You could place the blocks underneath you, or you could just maybe even bring your elbows to the floor. Whatever is accessible for your body. And wherever you choose to be, I invite you to be here for the next 4 rounds of breath. Everything is temporary. Everything moves and changes, including our emotions, including our thoughts, including our bodies. So even as our bodies might be still in this moment, you might notice that your breath continues to move. After your 4th breath, or when you decide you're ready, you could start to find your way back to center if you found a forward fold. Taking your time, coming back. Observing for a breath, how you feel. And if you're ready for the next shape, you could scoop up underneath your extended leg and using your hand and arm to draw your leg back in. And then extending the same leg right out in front of you. Noticing how this feels. And if you have any injury in your hamstring or perhaps your knee, or if maybe you're just feeling really tight today, you could always take a blanket and place it underneath your extended leg, underneath your knee specifically. And this will give you a little bit of a bend and just protect the knee, as well as give you a little bit more space so that the stretch, if you're feeling really tight, doesn't feel so intense. So whatever you need to feel supported here, I invite you to find that now. And you could choose to stay right at center. Another option is to breathe in, maybe even reaching your arms up overhead, finding lots of length in the spine, taking up space. And with an exhale, you could begin to fold toward your extended leg. And if you do not have a blanket or anything underneath your extended leg, underneath your knee, then you could decide to just allow your knee to have a micro bend. So instead of forcing your leg to be completely straight and force it down towards the floor, you might decide just to add a little micro bend into your extended knee, noticing how that might feel, if it's welcome, or if you prefer to have an active leg and really send the energy down towards the earth and down toward your extended leg. This is also an option. And we'll be here for the next 4 breaths. In and out. Finding movement in our breath. Perhaps finding stillness in our bodies. However, if you prefer to move your body in this shape, you absolutely can. Last breath here. And as you're ready, you could find your way back up to center. Taking a pause for 1 breath in between. Option to scoop up underneath your extended leg and using your hand, draw the knee back toward you. And we'll switch sides. So you could extend your opposite leg, allowing the leg that was extended to fold in close to you. Noticing if this is welcome to the body. Choosing either to stay upright, observing how this shape feels for your inner thigh or your extended leg or anywhere else in your body. Another option is to take a fold by inhaling and maybe on your exhale starting to come forward, maybe walking your hands forward. Maybe you bring your elbows to the floor. You decide. Four breaths in and out. However, you can leave this shape whenever you want to. You do not have to force yourself to stay in a place where you are in pain or are uncomfortable or just that maybe it just doesn't feel welcome. You always have choice. And your choice is honored, your choice is celebrated, even if it's different than what I'm doing. We'll take our last breath here. And in your own timing, you can begin to find your way back up. If you had folded forward, maybe even scooping underneath your extended leg, using your hand, drawing your leg in. You could extend the same leg right out in front of you. Perhaps staying right here. Or perhaps inhaling and reaching the arms up, allowing the spine to float up. And on an exhale, you could begin to draw forward towards your extended leg. If you need a blanket underneath your extended leg, you could also set that up, or any other props you might need here. And the goal here isn't necessarily to touch your foot or to reach your foot. Again, it doesn't matter how far you go into a pose. What matters is, where are you in this moment? Are you here? Are you with your body? Are you with your heart? Can you take this opportunity, these last few breaths, to tune into where you're feeling the sensation in your body? And notice that it wasn't there a moment ago. And here in another moment, it won't be there again. Last inhale and exhale. If you're ready, you could find your way up. And perhaps scoop up underneath your extended leg, draw your leg in. An option to, one more time, pull the knees in toward the chest. Maybe wrap your arms around your legs. Big breath in here if you're ready for it. And a big breath out. If you'd like to join me for the next shape, you could take a towel or a blanket and roll it up. We'll be exploring supported fish shape. And this shape is very opening to the shoulders and the chest and the spine. And so once you have your blanket rolled up, you could lay it on your mat, running the length of your mat. I like to have a second blanket or a block up towards the top for my head. All right. And when you're set up, you could sit with your back toward the blanket, and then you could start to lay down, laying your spine on the blanket. Option to keep your feet on the mat, or option to extend your legs out long. And then perhaps having your hands or your arms rest down by your sides. Or if you'd like to explore a different sensation, you could reach the arms maybe into a T. Noticing how changing your arm shape could change the sensation in your chest. So you decide where you want to place your arms. You could also place One hand over your heart, one over your abdomen. And as we're here, you could bring some awareness back into your breath. Noticing just the fluidity of your breath, the constant ebb and flow. And I invite you to be here in this shape for the next 5 breaths. Observing how your breath moves from the very bottom of your abdomen up into your chest, how it moves your ribs, maybe even up into your shoulders. Last breath here. You might decide to stay here longer, or if you're ready to leave this shape, you could mindfully roll to one side and press yourself up, moving the blanket out of the way. And I welcome you to take a twist with me, and then we'll move into our Shavasana. So if you'd like to take the twist, you could find your way down onto your back. Perhaps starting by bringing the knees in toward the chest, just to kind of level out your back. You could even roll from side to side. And then keeping your right knee in toward the chest. Option to extend your left leg out long. And we'll breathe in here. And as you exhale, option to take the right knee and send it over to the left. I like to untuck my bottom shoulders, or in this case, your left shoulder. If you'd like, you could kind of just give it some space. And if your right shoulder floats up off the floor, that's okay. It doesn't have to stay pinned down. You could allow your body to enter into this shape however it naturally wants to. As we explore this shape for the next 4 breaths, taking our time. Taking this opportunity to sink into your body, noticing how this twist might even affect your breathing. Does it change how the breath moves in and out of your body? Does it alter the pattern? Last breath here. And then if you're ready to leave this shape, you could find your way back to center. Perhaps you pull your knees back in toward the chest. And then keeping the left knee in, you could extend the right leg. Taking an inhale when you're ready. And with your exhale, you could send the left knee over to the right. Option to untuck your right shoulder. Four rounds of breath here. Or you could leave whenever you want to. You don't have to stay if you don't want to. You have a choice. And your choice is honored. Two more breaths. If you're ready to leave this shape, you could come back to center. Taking any final movements here that feel welcome, anything that comes to mind that you'd like to explore. And we'll begin to move into our time of rest. So you can continue moving if you want to. If you decide that you're ready for Shavasana, our time of rest, then you could decide to stay right here on your back, maybe planting your feet on the floor, or perhaps even extending the legs out long. Or if you want a different resting shape, you could rest on your stomach or even sitting up. You could extend the legs up the wall. The choice is yours. You have so many options. It really comes down to what shape allows you to rest and feel safe. And if you need any props, perhaps a blanket over your body to provide some safety, or even a blanket underneath your knees if you're lying on your back to take some of the tension or strain off of your low back. These are all options available to you. So whatever feels welcome. You could also even explore lying on your side. And we'll be here for about 10 breaths, 10 to 15 breaths. A little bit shorter of a rest time than what we usually do. So as you settle in, allowing yourself to slow down. And I'll be quiet now for the remainder of our rest time, and I'll let you know when it's complete. You can stay here as long as you like. There's no rush to move out of this resting time. If this is still something that you'd like to stay in, if you are ready to move out of this resting time, you could find your way onto one side if you're lying on your back or your stomach. And taking a moment to ease into this shape. Maybe taking a deep breath in through your nose and out of your mouth. And when you decide you're ready to press yourself up, I'll meet you in any seated shape that feels welcome. Option to bring your hands to heart center, or perhaps one hand to the heart, one to the abdomen, or anywhere else that you see fit. And if you'd like, you could take a collective breath in and out with me, and we'll begin by exhaling all of our air out. And taking a breath in together. Thank you for allowing me to guide you in your practice today. I hope that you feel safe, connected, and at home in your body.